Welcome everybody, welcome back to Photography Schoolhouse, and as always, I'm Kerry Allen. Hasn't changed in all these years. So tonight, we're going to do Hollywood Glamour. We're going to do Hollywood Glamour with a spin. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about what Hollywood Glamour is to photography. I've been a fan of this style of photography forever. And it really dates back to the 20s and 30s and 40s and some of the great movie stars. You've probably seen images and pictures of them over the years. And most of them, almost every star in Hollywood, was photographed by a guy called George HURRELL. And George HURRELL is a phenomenal, well, was a phenomenal photographer. And he was in demand. Even actors and actresses that weren't with the studio that he was with would demand that only George HURRELL take their photos. That's how much he developed this style. So tonight, these are his. I've just downloaded some of these, and they're poses we're going to try tonight. But my point is this. I'm not trying to recreate the old hairstyles and the old wardrobe. It's not that I'm trying to make a 1920s or 1930s period piece. I want to make a modern portrait using the lighting techniques of the 20s and 30s. Now, whether I do it in color or black and white doesn't really matter. And I'm going to shoot it in color. As you know, we can always convert in post-production. But that's my plan. So I want to show you a little bit. I'm going to go over to the computer and I'm going to show you some images. So we on the computer? Yep, there we go. So my point is, George HURRELL, that's the guy that kind of invented this. Now you have to, that was his camera. Remember, 20s, 30s. It's not like he had fancy camera equipment to work with. In fact, most of his stuff, as you can see from this slide, was done not with photographic lights, but with the lights that were available to him at the studio. So he started at MGM in 1930, worked for many studios, including his own, retired after 46 years, still is the leader in Hollywood. And really, it's all about his lighting. Some of these are just phenomenal. James Cagney. Yeah, you got to be over 40 to know who these people are, I think. But bonus points for anybody who can put in the chat window if you know the names. Look at this lighting, just phenomenal. The care and the detail, without the modern tools, no Photoshop. In those days, you had the camera and you had the darkroom, and that was it. $5 to the person who can name this actress. Who? Veronica Lake. Okay, she loses $5. Pay up, please. So, as I was saying before, my whole thing is about modernizing this to today's standards, today's hairstyles, today's makeup, wardrobe, everything, so that we can create a product that is available for sale to our customers. We have done, in fact, I'll show you this picture. This is one of mine. That's not George HURRELL. But that was shot in Phoenix. This model was a specialist. She specialized in period pieces. She did everything from the 30s to the 50s. She had her own wardrobe. She did her own hair and those styles. So in this case, we were trying to recreate an old style portrait. Same thing with this. This was an actual client that came in. So he's got the old style hat, and everything was about fairly strong lighting. You see in the shot of the guy with the harsh shadow on the back. That's, of course, intentional. And so these were all real customers, except for this girl who's that model that I told you about. So that was fine to do this as period pieces, and it was kind of fun to do it as period pieces. But we're going to do it as if our model tonight, Natalie, just walked through the door and said, you know, I want a Hollywood-style portrait. Now, Hollywood Glamour and film noir are photographically very similar. The subjects changed. Film noir is normally about, it seemed to be related to gangster movies. So this is that same model, brought in a male model. She dressed him up. She sourced all the wardrobe. Now that spot on the background, that's actually not dropped in with Photoshop. That was created with a spot in the studio. A focusable spot. You don't get a harsh light like that with an everyday spot. You've got to have one that you can focus the light. And still the shadows on the back wall, same sort of thing. Are you monitoring questions? We're not on the camera right now. So same sort of thing, that's that spot. And then we even went a step further. For those of you who've hung around our workshops and whatnot, if you can make out the character holding the knife in the background and the shot on the right, that's my partner, my business partner, John. Some of you may have met John over all the different seminars and workshops that we put on. So we made him an actor, gave him a knife, and pulled out a toy gun. I'm going to call it a toy gun, but this was shot in Phoenix, so you all know what it was. But it is unloaded. And we created some film noir kind of stuff. So if you want to know more about the lighting that we used, at the time I was using this exact model, the Norman Trilite 2000, and it's been discontinued by Norman. I had found mine on eBay, and it's got a drawer, a slider holder where you can put these metal filters in if you want to show some patterns. The filters you can get at companies like Roscoe have these metal filters. Now, although this model is discontinued, I know I'm in the HONEYCOMB system, and HONEYCOMB continues to make in fact, they make two different focusable spots. So like a projector, that lens has a knob on the other side that allows you to get that crisp look to the light. So what is it that really defines Hollywood glamour? In my opinion, it's just painting with light, creating pools of light in just the right places. We've talked about this kind of approach to lighting before when we've done some of our complex glamour productions. If you look back through the media library, you see a lot of complex glamour. This is very similar. It can be black and white, toned, full color, doesn't make any difference. And what I use today are mostly 7-inch reflectors, or get any reflector of approximately the same size that fits your make of light. And then these honeycomb grids, we have a lot of them, except we can't find our 20 degree tonight, so we have one less than we used to. But we have everything from 10 degree to 40 degree. And the idea of this is, you get the idea on this slide, the larger the cell, the larger the hole in the honeycomb grid, the wider the dispersion of light. So you can see a 3 degree is very, very tight, and we're going to be using a 3 degree tonight. A 10 degree for us is like standard. I forget, I've lost count. I've got 6 or 7 of the 10 degrees. And then 20 degree, 30 degree, 40 degree. We're actually going to be using a 40 degree tonight. The other thing I really like for something like this are barn doors. And that's great for making the light part of the picture because it looks like a 1920s kind of a light. And what's he doing? Is he showing the back of my hair? Did I comb back there? So, by the way, PSH Gold, we're going to talk about this. We had a Memorial Day sale this weekend, and it's still on. You can save up to 50%. So when it says join the PSH Gold member program for as little as $19.95, it's actually, today's the last day, $9.95. And instead of if you get the annual, instead of $179.95, it's $99.95, but you get a pile of free stuff. Literally hundreds of dollars worth of free stuff with a $99 membership. So if you're interested, go to www.pshgold.com, and that's all the information, and you can sign up there. Okay, obligatory sales pitch over. Let's do some photography. I need a camera. So, Natalie, we're going to do the first pose. So, now you need to be on that camera. Faster, faster. You all know Marianne. She's hobbling around today because she kind of bunged up her knee. Towards Natalie. There we go. Okay, so the first pose we're going to do is this one, except we're going to reverse it. Instead of looking that way, you're looking that way. So you can sit, yep, you can rest your arms on the arm of the sofa like that, curl the legs back like that. And then, Dave, I'm going to need you, now the way we've hooked up the camera is kind of messed us up with the light. Will the light swing under that camera arm? I think it will. Just swing the whole arm. I don't think it'll crash much. Well, let's see if we just adjust the light from there. I want it to swing right out this way. If anything, that should be on the other side. The light head's going to block it. When we do these cams, it always adds just a little bit extra fun. So we need to aim at Natalie. She's going to be, if you aim it at Natalie's shoulder, if you can, Dave. The near shoulder. Then the other one, this is the 3 degree we're going to bring in. 3 degree, remember I said, is a very, very fine spot. So we're going to be lucky. We just want it on our face. Just come up to the face. And Natalie, if you're looking straight back to the video camera, lift your chin a little bit. Good, good. And now, you may need, let's take a test picture and see how this is building. The video light is on in the room for the video camera, but I don't think it's going to affect our still picture at all. Okay, the power on that light, while you're up there, Travis, can you hit the power? It's way down. Bring it up to about 3.0. Stay there for a sec while I just see how that's doing. Much better. And then, Dave, that one's got to come up too. I don't know what it's set for. Down? It was down. Yeah. Okay, we're starting to get there a little bit. We're not quite done yet. Okay, that can still come up a little bit higher. I'm going to leave the camera at f8. And let's check it now. Okay, so what we need now is a weak fill. And we're going to try and make this happen from this light over here. Let's see where this light is hitting. That should be it. Let's see if that's enough of a fill. Okay, Dave, can you reach that light? We're going to need to bump its power up. put it all the way to the top. It's pretty low. I kind of want to aim it at her knees or legs. Let's see, stay there while I take a test. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Can you grab a 7-inch reflector from the equipment closet? Make one quick change with some luck. Woo! And then I'll see if we need to put a grid in it. Let me take a test. This light is set way back, so it lays down an overall exposure. Better, but it's too high now. Now that the snoot is off it, it's got to come down in power. Set it down around 2.0 if you would, please. Better. Yep, no, the shadow on the wall is actually kind of what I'm going for. So, we could actually, just as Dave got all nice and cozy, I think what we're going to do is try maybe a 10 degree on that. What I want is a pool of light rather than this overall broad illumination. So with a shot like this, all I'm really doing is building to taste. It's like cooking. And you can add more lights. We're not going to go too crazy with lights tonight, but we've got, I should explain the background light a little bit too while Dave's getting that grid ready. Background light, you're not going to believe this. Now I'm shooting 100 ISO, 125th at f8. That background light is turned down as low as it'll go, and it's only a 100 watt second light to begin with. And it's turned down to the equivalent of about 6 watt seconds. And it was still too bright because it's so close to the wall. It's only about 4 feet from the wall. We had to put a 2-stop neutral density filter to cut it down even more. So I've said this many times in my productions, if you're out to buy lights, don't buy the biggest, brightest, strongest lights. If anything, you need some that are just low power. So see if you can hit that knee. If you can, okay, you got it? It didn't flash. Oh, it does when I do open, sure. Yeah. Darn thing. Yeah, there we go. We're starting to build now. Look at that. So rotate your shoulders, Natalie, a little bit more toward, no, that way. And your head comes back, just like you had it there. So this is kind of a classic feminine pose, where she's got her head turned past, directly looking at the camera, but just then her eyes come back to the camera. One more refinement for this, Dave. You see how the center spot is, I'd like to get that right behind her, so it gives her kind of a halo effect. Keep her coming, keep it coming. Touch more. Okay, let's try it there, but stand nearby. And now I think we could actually feather it up, tilt it up a little bit. There we go. So that's the lighting I want on the background. I think one more refinement and we're there. Back on this light, sorry. More power, Scotty. Let's try it again. There's the shadow. Okay. I don't want to move the boom because the camera's attached to it. I'm thinking, can you grab a light stand? Okay, we're just going to grab a light stand. Any questions while we're at this? I'm shooting a Canon camera. I was going to yell it out because Travis is way in the back office. I'm shooting a Canon camera, and we're using the utility program that comes with Canon, which is EOS utility, I believe it's called. It's free. You don't pay anything for it. So what we're doing is the tether connection goes into the camera body. We've got a long 25-foot cable that just, hold on, we're having light stand problems. No, they're all in the closet, but the closet is, yeah, I'll take this. Maybe you can help Dave for a second. That's right. I should have had a light stand out, but we didn't. I thought this would do it, but I'm still not happy with the lighting on her legs. I want to refine that. But anyways, that's the utility. Nikon has one if you shoot Nikon. I forget what they call theirs. And there are third-party utilities out there as well. Yep. Same height. Just we need to move it in closer. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Yeah, okay. Who took that picture? Did you? Yeah, that's remote shooting. So I guess if any of you are into having your camera operated remotely, you can actually do that from the utility.
Travis isn't included.
No Travis. Yeah, sorry. Travis is extra. Okay, so bear with us. This is the advantage of being in the studio live, is it's real time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a couple of shots while Dave is getting that light hooked up. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm looking for dark and moody, just the way George HURRELL did. So I'm not worried about the dark shadows too much. I am going to check the histogram because I do want, whoops. Sadly, you can't see the histogram on the tether. But the histogram is just about perfect, where that little white edge of her shoulder is just on the verge of being blown out. And everything else, obviously there's a lot of dark in this histogram. Everything else is falling right about where it should. So, okay, we've got the light in its new position. Let's try that. See if we're how we're doing here. Yeah, let's just dim it up a little bit too. So it's somewhere between the knee and the hip. Well, let's see, before we change the power, let's see if that does it. Yeah, somewhere down a bit too, because now we're losing her feet. So it was halfway between those two settings. Okay, let's see where that is. That's not so bad. I can zoom in a little bit. So I'm focusing on eyes, recomposing. I'm actually catching a little bit in the bottom right hand. You can see the corner of the other sofa, but I'm not worried about that because I'm going to burn that out in post. We can't move it without disturbing the video camera, so I don't want to do that right now. I think we're fine. So I've left a lot of room for cropping, but you can see the general composition. You can shoot this either way. You can shoot it landscape or portrait. Just try a landscape one. So I think this is going to do up real well, and you can see now our studio monitor is actually a large screen TV, which is very contrasty, but even on that contrasty TV I can still see plenty of detail in her hair, and so that's all fine. That's one though where the background light didn't fire. There, that's got it going. All right, so that's pretty much pose number one. And how I've just never had the ability. Where's our camera here? I don't know. Oh, there we are. Okay. A lot of people have asked about lighting diagrams, which we provided in the past, but I find with this kind of lighting, they don't work out. I could tell you that, you know, the main lights at f8 and the fill, you know, the background lights at f whatever, I could give you all those numbers, and you'd go and set up exactly the same way, right to the T. You'd copy it like with a magnifying glass, same brand, and it'll all be wrong. It'll just all be wrong. It won't work. And there's so many factors. We're in a room here that has a lot of medium gray to light gray walls, so light is still bouncing around the room. If this was in a bigger room, we might have to, you know, adjust the lights differently. So don't worry about, you know, what are you shooting at. I like to shoot stuff like this at f8. I set my camera for f8, and I adjust the lights until we have the look that I'm after. Once this goes through post, and you know, I think it'll just be a really good, solid Hollywood-style lighting, but yet modern look shot. So Dave, actually, if you want to take a few, because I'm going to move off after this, Dave is going to use the big old Hasselblad. I'm going to get out of the way. That's it. You undid 20 minutes worth of work there, Dave. You kicked the light.
Yeah, I did. So I did.
Now, we've been attempting for 4 or 5 weeks to tether this Hasselblad into our broadcast system, and we've run over one situation or another. We had the right cable tonight. It's just now the cable isn't long enough. So we're getting there. We're going to get this camera tethered.
Okay, we're good with the lights. Okay, Natalie, I'm just going to try and get the little pool of light in the right spot behind you, so everything looks good. Okay.
So the background light, again, down low as it'll go, is about 6 watt seconds. 40 degree honeycomb grid, which is what's shaping the light, and 2-stop neutral density filter hanging in front of it.
Just bring around a little bit towards me. Yeah, a little more. Stop. There. That's they call a Rembrandt lighting. Just a little more towards me. Like that. Very good.
Okay, so we're going to move on to another pose. The sad thing about this, in most of this glamour style lighting, it's going to be the second one at the top. Now, because we're using a sofa, we can actually not have her on the floor. The actual sample that she's looking at, she's on the floor. Actually, I'm going to take that because I forget pose number 2 myself. Okay, so one arm up like that. We're still going to have that light and the 3 degree coming from the same direction.
I'll have to go steer the 3 degree.
Yeah, you will. Switch legs so that, yeah, and that can be a touch lower. And you're going to have to sit up a little straighter with an arch in your back. And you're going to, that's going to be your key light over there. Drop your chin a little bit. And then this light should be just about right. So the lighting hasn't changed a lot from our last pose.
You want a little touch up on the...
Yeah, let's just see where it's landing here.
I think this is completely off.
Yeah. Now, Natalie's been with us for 5 years or more. She announces today she's moving to Ohio.
Boo hiss.
Boo hiss. Just because, like, she's got a paying job and stuff like that. Really kind of a sucky reason, if you ask me. When you could be a model at Photography Schoolhouse and earn nothing at all.
You want the background light just moved a little?
We're getting an odd double shadow. So I think what we want to do, the double shadow is coming from the 3 degree. What if we move the 3 degree over a little bit? And that'll shape the lighting on Natalie's face. Okay. So, just to review the lighting, let's see what camera. Well, while it's, yeah, that camera's good. So, one light on the background. It's a 100 watt second, set as low as it'll go, which is the equivalent of about 6 watt seconds. 40 degree honeycomb grid, 2 stop neutral density filter in front of it because it's so close to the background. Like I said, 3 to 4 feet away from the wall. So we really had to work at that. On the boom arm to my right, our camera right, I don't know if you could pan up. No, I don't know what camera's looking at that. No? All right, don't worry about it.
Yes.
Take camera 3 and just pan it up so you can see. Pan it up to that light over there. There we go. So that's a 200 watt second. It's not at full power by any means. It's got a 10 degree honeycomb grid, and that's the one that's hitting her shoulder on the shot we just took. Her face is illuminated by the 3 degree light, which is way over to the left, if one of the cameras can pick that up. Okay, there it is. So it's up high, relatively high. It's a 3 degree, extremely fine spot. So it's about 7 or 8 feet away from Natalie. But still, all it's illuminating is her face and basically her neck.
I can take it off.
Yeah, so you can see the result of that. So all I'm trying to do with that last lighting move is to change the shape of the light on her face and to get a secondary shadow out. I don't mind the shadow, but I only want one of them. And then finally, this light that's practically right beside my shooting position is higher than the camera. Aim down, it's got a 10 degree honeycomb grid, and its job is to illuminate right basically from her ankles all the way up. And let's just take another test, make sure nothing's moved. Okay. So it's all good. Now we have basically that one single shadow instead of the 2 shadows. Now, Natalie, just change your look. Look back to the camera. Is that good? And, yeah, look back this way. Hold that. Oops, didn't mean to shoot, but let's see what we got. See, actually, this lighting, the way it is right now, is kind of working out even for this. Now, don't blink. Okay. Now, what I want is lift your head, toss it back like you're dreaming, eyes closed. Lips closed. Turn your head, still eyes closed, but yeah, like that. Good. Try a different composition. Turn your head to the camera a little bit, still eyes closed. There we go. So still good definition. The histogram is looking perfect. You wouldn't want to open up at all. You might be thinking that, oh, maybe her legs are darker than her face, I should open up. But no, I wouldn't at all, because you'd blow out that shoulder. So if you did want to change anything, you'd leave everything the same except change the light on her legs, just bring it up in power. But frankly, her face should be the center of attention, not the legs at all. So it's all good. So Dave, if you want to get ready, shoot this pose. I'll take some questions, and Dave is going to shoot the blad.
Okay, Natalie.
Okay, well, KG Photo, yeah, sorry I don't know your full name, but you make a valid point with the your last. You could meter it after everything's in position, but, you know, I've bought some of these, you know, educational materials where they give you lighting diagrams, and Dave and I have tried for hours and hours trying to duplicate their setup, and it never seems to work, but
And a little more.
there's kind of the theory and the reality of it all.
More toward.
But your point is absolutely correct.
Yeah, let's try that. That one. I'll go a little closer.
Sorry, I'm trying not to cough in your ear.
Just a little bit of lean back. Just a little. Come back down a little touch. There, like that. Okay, and then a little bit towards me, like that.
Okay, guess 368.
That's
I'm going to try and set up the next shot using the barn doors.
okay.
Are you good, Dave?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to make a change in my plan, but I'm going to show you how we can make this look a little Hollywood. The barn doors that you brought out. You had barn doors out, or am I dreaming it? Okay, they're in the closet. Okay, well, we're setting that up. Mike Woods asks about how would you market this? what I've been doing with marketing in general, what we're going to do is we're going to put the barn doors on the background light, and then it's not going to be a background light anymore. It's going to come over and be a hair light and a prop. So you can watch Dave set this up. So marketing, I've been in favor of marketing specials. So I put some samples on Facebook, and I tell everybody that, we're doing this for 1 week only. Hollywood Glamour, book your session now. The more samples you have up, the better it is. And then I move on to the next thing. The next week it's going to be a different special. You could leave the honeycomb in there, I think. And that's kind of how I've been doing. Right now, 90 to 95% of my marketing is all Facebook. Yeah, those just snap on and hold the, like so. You think that's easy, except that reflector is probably really, really hot right now. Yes, it is. Yes. No, I think he's got it. There we go. So it snaps onto the reflector. We just open up the wings like that, and we're going to set it in behind. We're going to make it a prop and a light. So it's going to go around behind the sofa as a hair light, so it's going to go higher as well. And okay, and it's got to go over by the lamp, but you may have to go the other way. Okay, as long as there's enough cord. Yeah, now spin it around towards Natalie, like a hair light, and right back in the corner. Yeah, but aimed at Natalie. Well, that's okay, that's fine. Doesn't have to come from a high position, so it'll be a kicker light. Let's just take a test and see how that's working. Just stay there for a second. So it's in a little close. Can you just, Dave, give Natalie a ride. Push the sofa down a foot or so. Yeah. And then re-aim it as a kicker. And re-aim the 3. The trouble with this style of lighting is every time you make a single move, everything has to change. Now I would normally put the background light, that one we just set up, a little bit higher, but for the sake of the broadcast, we don't have time to dig out another stand. That's as high as that little background stand goes. But you get the idea. It could move in a couple of inches, Dave, just so I don't have to compose the photo so funkily. Oh, of course, now it's not going to go. So you could have fun with that. You could have another one. I have another set of barn doors. We could put another one on and really give it a George HURRELL kind of look, complete with the lighting and everything. You can't really tell from the photo if this light was an old-style 1930s Fresnel light for a movie set. It isn't. I mean, it was probably made last week, but you get the idea. Now, other than using it as a prop, I rarely use barn doors for just about anything. Okay. So again, because the stand is showing, I'm going to compose this, and then it's going to take a little bit of post-production to get the stand dark enough to fall into the background. And so I just retouch the stand and everything else right out. So again, with that, toss the head back a little bit, eyes closed, look over this way. Chin down a bit now. Turn more to me. Oops, of course. That picture isn't changing. Yeah, utility program I think froze.
Yes.
Yeah, he's on it. Yeah, we've been having trouble with this too. It's worked forever, and the last 2 shows it seems to crash halfway through, but that's fine. I'm going to do one more lighting setup. After Dave, you're going to want to take some pictures, I'm sure. Last time we had to reboot the Mac. What? Well, when all else fails, there's the power button.
Yeah, just something like that, yeah. Okay, just close your eyes. Okay, and then towards me. Yeah, like that. Okay.
Is good?
Be good.
Okay. I'm going to put in another pose. This one is going to be, we don't have the bearskin rug, so we're going to go to this one. So this is an easy one whereby you just lie your head back. Just don't go to sleep. We may take the 3 degree and bring it over here. We might kill the background light altogether. Which camera's on? Oh, that one. Okay. I'm trying not to block the shot. Oh, it is now. Musical cameras. Three-degree grids are a little bit rarer. You don't see them very often. In fact, they were discontinued for a while. Nobody made them. And they brought them back, I guess, because so many people were complaining, which was basically me complaining under a dozen different names. Okay. So you're probably going to have to sit up a little bit more so that your head can drape back across the armrest. Let's drape, no, leave your hair the way it is. And the 3 degree should be past her on the other side and coming back. No, not further away, towards that wall. Past. Go that way, towards that wall. No, the whole stand. Like so. So it's going to throw a little shadow on this side of her face. That might be, well, we'll see. Let's just re-aim it and see where we're at. Okay. Yeah, now, yeah. Chin down a little bit. Just while we aim the light. Now slowly tilt towards me. Freeze. And I think, yeah, what power is that at?
0.4.
Let's cut it down to 1.0. Looks really, really bright because it's in so much closer now. Okay, stay there. I'm going to take a test and see where we're at for brightness. Not too bad. We're going to kill that light for a second. We're going to build all the lights back up from just probably one. As I want. Travis is trying to get the tether working. Says busy. Maybe if I disconnected the camera, I'll probably ruin everything now. Take a shot. Oh, now the camera is saying error. I don't know what's going on. The Mac must have downloaded an update that doesn't agree with the tethering software. Yeah, do a restart. It's always something. You never know what it's going to be. So tonight it's this. Yeah, no, we're not quite there yet. We're on our way there. Oh, now the camera's fully jammed. Okay, well that's interesting. When all else fails, take the camera battery out. Turn the camera on. Okay, we're getting there. Getting close. We're going to kill this light too. This one. Okay, that's got to be re-aimed. Slide the light towards me.
Get a little coverage on it.
Yep. Okay, let's just try that. Even more. Because we're getting no light on one side. We want basically an upside down Rembrandt, I guess. And the shot actually is going to come from a high position like this. This is very close. We've dug it in. We'll see if we got a tether. I think it's trying to work. It's booting up. I'm getting a busy on the camera. Sorry, folks, this is all real time. So right now, I can't even take a test shot. The camera's totally locked up. But we'll give it a second, because I need to bring in one more light anyways. Well, which is going to be this one. Down low. So I've turned the power of that light that was beside the camera down quite a bit. Oh no, look at that work. Let's see if the image comes up or if I need to take another shot. Yay. Travis Demand. So now I've lightened up the shadows. Not totally pleased with the overall exposure. So I'm just going to open up a little bit. Better. Yeah, I don't like the nose shadow. So I think move it in more to her and then re-aim it almost straight down. Yeah, like so. That's better. I'm going to open up a little bit. Now let's see this. I just want to see the exposure better. This isn't actually the camera angle I want to use. The camera angle I want to use is from way up here and kind of over a little bit. Give myself some room to crop. Still interesting that, oh, I see why. Okay, I was going to talk about where that shadow is from that light position. Well, let's try that. I'm coming in, I'm practically right beside the light, focusing on her eyes.
Shadow gone, or?
No, I don't, because we're getting, glamour lighting instead of the dramatic lighting. So we need to put the shadow back in by moving it this way. And in as close as we can. And see if that puts some shadow back in. Yeah, like that. Now I could, just hold that position, Natalie. I could just re-aim this light. Very subtly open up that shadow, I hope. Of course, I'm probably blocking it too, so I'm going to try and get out of the way. There, I think that just opened the shadow a tiny bit. Alrighty, Dave, you want to try this one? Well, you can't, so there.
With the 120 mil lens, I'll have to.
Oh, with the 120,
I'll go
yeah.
Upstairs.
That's the plan.
That's nice, Natalie.
Now, the idea of offering this session for a week so that you don't have to go through this lighting setup every single time you have a session. Lights can remain roughed in. Put your subject in position, hair and makeup, and shoot away. Doesn't have to be a major production with, 30 minutes of setup every time.
Yeah, it's good.
So, that's basically what we came to talk about. Any last questions before we wrap this one up? So if not, Thank you, guest 411. Guest 249, this is that class. We're not doing, if you missed the opening, we're not doing this with old hairstyles and old wardrobe. We're taking the principle of that lighting and applying it to modern day. What is it? Oh yeah, you could put that up. PSH Gold, half off. So I mentioned again, if you missed it, our Memorial Day sale. Today's the last day. It expires at midnight Pacific time. 50% off gold memberships. And if you go for the annual membership, not only the discount, but you get a mountain of free stuff. The boudoir posing guide, the wedding book, the studio lighting book, just about a tiny mountain of stuff. www.pshgold.com if you want to sign up or get more information. I'm a lousy salesman, so I'm not here to sell you anything, but there you go. I'm sitting on that. Not a great thing. Okay, I need a camera operator. No, it's aimed at her feet. Okay, so again, wrapping this up, thank you all for coming. For PSH Gold members, we'll put this video up on the media library as always, and I'll do some post-production on some of the images, and I'll post that along with the recording. So everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.